Are you ready to learn more about 2020 Tesla stock splits? In 2020, Tesla stock was split 5 times for $1, and in 2022, it was split 3 times for $1 or $900 per share. But what if I told you, like Morpheus in the Matrix, that the next stock split might be coming up soon in 2024? Would you believe me if I told you there was a smart way to buy shares to cash out before the stock splits happened? As much as it sounds too good to be true, listen up. In this video, we'll go deep into the world of Tesla stock splits and look at some interesting facts about the company's approach, from how they try to avoid 4-digit stock prices to their target price range after the split. We'll cover it all, and if that wasn't enough, we'll also look at projections for Tesla's production and delivery statistics. But before we do that, hit the like button and subscribe. In 2020, Tesla stock was split 5 times for a total of $2,000 per share. And then, as we already said, it was split 3 times for $900 per share in August 2022. What if I told you that the next stock split is going to happen in just 12 months? I know it sounds crazy, and I don't think many of you will believe me before we get into projections and numbers. I learned a few things about how Tesla does their stock splits that I'd like to share with you. The first time Tesla did a stock split, the price of the stock was $2,000 per share. The second time, it was closer to $1,000 per share, which suggests that the company is saying, yes, we don't want to see Tesla stock in the 4-digit range, which is in line with their previous stock price preferences. Why would a company that owns shares want the stock price to be in the 4-digit range? It's great that Google and Amazon did a 20-for-1 stock split, but I still think it's silly that shares are worth thousands of dollars. I think Tesla's next stock split will be in the high hundreds. I think it will be $800 a share, but we don't know for sure. Another thing I heard about Tesla stock is that the company doesn't want the price of its shares to drop below $200 after a stock split. Its lowest point is around $300, which is an interesting fact to think about. In this video, we'll look at these rules in more information. At first, 14 million new cars were thought to be on the road in 2030. I know it's supposed to be 20 million, and I agree that it will be, but I don't think it will happen by 2030. More likely, it will happen in 2032 or 33, just to be safe. We don't have any FSD subscription numbers, so we don't know how many customers pay for it every month. But we're going to assume that 15% of all newly sold vehicles will convert to or pay the full $15,000 or whatever amount FST will be. Let's start with a $45 PS prediction for 2030. Some people might think it's a good sign, but I don't think it's a correct. I think we'll be shocked by Tesla's performance as early as this year. It'll be completely crazy. So let's figure out what the stock prices would be and when they'll do a stock split whenever you guys are ready. The answer for 2022 is 50 PE, which is almost $201 per share, but the PE for 2023 is currently around 60. We're still in a bear market, so a P of 60 is pretty impressive. I'm going to say the same thing here for 2020 and 2023 as well, because I think we will be in a bull market by the end of this year, or at least by the middle of it. No one knows for sure, but I hope that by the end of the year, inflation is curved, interest rates are slowly paused, or maybe even get cut. You know that the Fed will set off the next bull market a year from now, or a 12-month target interest rate hike. Gary Black thinks the stock will be worth $370 per share, which would mean a huge P of 74, which is crazy, and would put the value of the company at $1.2 trillion. If P is 50, the price of a stock would be around $400. But if we're in a bull market, the market could become irrational, like we saw during the bear market. For example, stocks in Tesla, Meta, and Netflix went down 80%. For what these companies are cash printing machines, why do their stocks have to go down 80%? That's all because of fear, not any fundamentals or math. Everyone is selling out of fear. So you sell, I sell, he sells, she sells, and in a bull market you buy, I buy, and the price of both stays the same. Stock prices of companies like Tesla usually trade in the low hundreds or low 200s, so it's easy to guess that the company's stock price will go up by a factor of 4. Now, if you want to write this bull market off, the price per share will probably go down in 2025 to around $818 or 70 PE, and after a stock split in 2026, it could drop to $960 or $240 on a 4-for-1 basis. Finally, in 2027, it could drop to $250 or $273 on a 35-for-1 basis. I don't think Tesla stock will be in the 30 PS unless there's another big crash like the one we had earlier this year or even in late 2022. 30p is $290 per share. And if you want to give it a P of 27, you could say $302 per share by 2030 after all the splits if there isn't a big innovation that could take Tesla stock to greater heights. I think that the stock's P will stay in the low 20s for the rest of this decade and the first half of the next. Let's see if I'm right when I say that the average price for this ticket will be in the mid-50s and that it will stay in the low 30s for the next decade. When do I really think that someone should do a stock split? Let's go back in time. In 2023, I want a 60 PE of 300 per share. Based on my calculations, the stock price in 2024 will be around 400 with a P of 50. That's right, it will be about 45 in 2025 and about 700 in 2026 with a P of 40. So I think that either 2026 or 2027 could be the first year that a stock split is announced. As long as the market is not in a bull or bear market, it should be at a base market, at least in my opinion. So around 2026, when the market cap was about $2.5 trillion, there were probably a stock split. One thing I know for sure is that if Tesla splits its stock around these prices around $275 to $300, it probably won't be the last time. In fact, I think the company will split its stock at least twice more this decade, and twice more in 2030, depending on growth in the bullish case. Tesla could split its stock as early as next year, 2024, most likely at the end of that year. I don't think this will happen, though. The next time I'll split my stock is when it's worth about $500 to $600 per share, which could be at the end of this decade or the beginning of the 2030s. I really believe that 2026 is the sweet spot, anywhere from 2025 to 2027. But I think 2026 is a good year that we should have already done a split or be getting ready to do one. Stock splits are always hard to predict, but it makes sense that Tesla would want to keep its stock price at 3 figures because that keeps the shares affordable for most people. Let's see how well this prediction holds up over the next few years, but I think it will be accurate. Thanks for watching, and if you like this kind of content, please hit that like button and subscribe. See you on the next video.